Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is on a high-stakes visit to the Indian national capital. It's the most high-profile visit from Moscow to India since Russia invaded Ukraine. He held a bilateral meeting with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and he praised India's neutrality in the Ukraine conflict. The two leaders discussed bilateral cooperation and developments in Afghanistan, Iran, the Indo-Pacific, ASEAN and the Indian subcontinent as well.
Well, as regards using ruble and rupee in our financial trade dealings, I would recall that many years ago we started moving in our relations with India, with China, and with many other countries from using dollar and euros to more and more use of national currencies. Under these circumstances, this trend, I believe, will be intensified, which is natural and obvious. I mentioned about oil supplies and supplies of high technology. If India wants to buy anything from us, we are ready to discuss and to reach mutually acceptable forms of cooperation. I cannot even imagine that India is taking some stance because India is under pressure. We respect, as I said earlier, the Indian concentration on its basic principles, namely that Indian foreign policy is built upon legitimate national interests of this country, of this state, and of these people. And that's basically all which I can say in response to your question. I cannot even imagine that India is taking some stance because India is under pressure. We respect, as I said earlier, the Indian concentration on its basic principles, namely that Indian foreign policy is built upon legitimate national interests of this country, of this state, and of these people. And that's basically all which I can say in response to your question.
As we speak, Sergei Lavrov is meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Russia is looking for help to reduce the impact of economic sanctions imposed by the West. So far, India has maintained a neutral stance, refusing to bow to pressure from the West and join it in sanctioning the Kremlin over Ukraine. India is currently buying Russian oil and gas and has also purchased missile systems from Russia. Reports suggest that India is weighing a plan to make rupee-ruble denominated payments as an alternative to the SWIFT banking system. This after the US and European Union cut off 7 Russian banks from using the cross-border payment system. The US says it recognizes every country has different relations with Russia.
Different countries are going to have their own relationship with the Russian Federation. It's a fact of history, it's a fact of geography. That is not something that we are seeking to change. What we are seeking to do, whether it is in the context of India or other partners and allies around the world, is to do all we can to see to it that the international community is speaking in unison, speaking loudly against this unjustified, unprovoked, premeditated aggression, calling for an end to the violence, using the leverage that countries, including India, have to those ends.
Let's talk now to our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibbal, who's joining me live from New Delhi. Siddhant, what were the main takeaways from the Lavrov talks earlier with his Indian counterpart?
Well, the 3 key focus areas were, first, of course, trade. Rupee-ruble mechanism is something that is being talked about that helps bypass the Western sanctions as well. Earlier in the day, the Russian foreign minister talked about the need to have trade in national currencies. The second, of course, he lashed out at the West. And New Delhi is a great platform in a sense for Russia to do so, given the fact that while West has been saying that there is an isolation of Russia, there are countries like India and China which are engaging with Moscow. This has been a historical fact in terms of the bilateral relationship India has with Russia. And third, of course, the Russian foreign minister lauding New Delhi's role, not taking a one-sided view and looking at the issue in its entirety. Now, I'm standing in front of the Indian Prime Minister's residence, where even as we speak, the Russian Foreign Minister is meeting the Indian Prime Minister. Now, what is kind of a showstopper, essentially, this meeting? It is different because we have seen there have been a beeline of foreign ministers, the Omani foreign minister, the Greek foreign minister, Austria, Mexico, even the British foreign secretary never got a chance to call on the Indian Prime Minister. But amidst this situation, the geopolitical changes, Russian foreign minister is meeting. And of course, the Russian foreign minister is going to give his view about what they assess the situation on the ground when we look at the crisis in Ukraine. So essentially a very important visit in both bilateral aspect and also in terms of the ongoing situation in Europe and the Russian side engaging with New Delhi.
Siddhant, thank you. That's Siddhant Sibbal, our principal diplomatic correspondent, reporting live from New Delhi.